But there is a feud that is dividing the internet. Two of the biggest names in women's sports, Riley Gaines and Simone Biles, have erupted into an online feud. It all began when Riley Gaines, who is a former swimmer and women's rights activist, posted a photo of a Minnesota team that won a championship, but they won it with a trans player. And she said, of course your comments are turned off. Your star player is a boy. Not controversial for Riley Gaines to say. But then out of nowhere came former Olympic gymnast Simone Biles, who absolutely ripped into Riley Gaines for this. She said, pick on someone your own size. We should be uplifting trans people or making sport more inclusive, or perhaps finding a transgender category in all sports. And then she called Riley Gaines straight up a sore loser. Now, rightfully, the internet then exploded when Simone Biles said this because she won her Olympic medals in the female category. If she had been competing against men, as she wants in her inclusive utopia, she would never have won the gold medal because of men's physical strength and advantage. And then the funniest part was an old tweet of Simone Biles came back to bite her. Back in 2017, she tweeted, "Good thing guys don't compete against girls or he'd take all the gold medals." Riley Gaines responded to this and said, "Don't you hate it when your past self undermines your current nonsensical argument?" And that's the point. Everyone deep down knows, any professional athlete would know, that men have a substantial physical advantage just by virtue of their biology. She knew that. Somehow, 8 years ago, she knew that. But now, I don't know, she's fallen victim to the woke mind virus.
Yeah, Simone Biles got 11 Olympic medals competing in a female sport against females, earned millions of dollars and retired, and then started saying how males should be allowed to compete in female sport, which seems a little easy. Not only that, but she wants to take on Riley Gaines, who actually did face a male in her sport. Riley Gaines achieved fame or notoriety, depending on where you sit on the issue, when she complained, had the temerity to be upset that, remember Leah Thomas, the biological male who was dominating university swimming and beat Riley Gaines. So Riley Gaines knows what it is to be penalised in female sport, having to compete against a transgendered athlete. For Simone Biles to win all her medals, take all her money, and then sit back righteously pontificating on we need to support trans people in female sports is pretty rich.
Well, Ms Biles could simply put her money where her mouth is and go back to competing and compete against men. If she's that confident that this isn't an issue, then that's what you go and do. It's also interesting to note that Gymnastics USA, which is, of course, the governing body for gymnastics in the United States, has now pulled their transgender entrance policy from its website. And previously they updated it about 5 years ago and changed the rules so that you didn't have to have gender reassignment surgery or anything in order to be able to compete in gymnastics. So you can be a biological male and have taken very few steps to change anything about yourself and compete as a woman. And amidst all of this, they've now pulled that from their website. So it makes you wonder what's going on behind the scenes in the governing body and how they're now thinking about all of this. If it turns out that Simone Biles going off her chops about this actually causes them to review this policy, then maybe she's done a good thing.
And I think that's exactly what's happened, because Riley Gaines has said many athletes who are still competing professionally for Gymnastics USA have contacted her privately behind the scenes saying they support her stance on the issue and that women's sport should be protected for women. And this is the thing, I don't know why people are still trying to make this argument or fight this fight. This is a 90-10 issue. I honestly, it's not even partisan, it's not political, it's just basic common sense. So this would seem like a real PR headache for Simone Biles to get into for zero gain.
Yeah, it's unbelievable why she would want to do this, who knows, but I guess it makes her look righteous in the eyes of the woke.